Throwers, I think, are one of the most underused armies for how good they are in the game. And I think there's really two reasons for that. One being they just received the buff, so I think people are still kind of getting used to them and testing them out in their current state. And then the second reason is they are a little bit more difficult to pull off than some of the regular meta armies, right? Like Root Riders kind of just do things themselves, and Dragons, you don't really have to worry about funneling for them very much. But I will say, if you can execute this attack well and funnel these throwers correctly, they are just as strong as really either of those two armies. They really do have a lot of power if you can use the army correctly. So today what I'm going to do is I'm going to take Big Country's army, his version with a couple of Root Riders and stuff. I'm going to make a few changes to this screen that you're looking at here, but I'll show you the screen with the army after this. I'm taking 3 Ice Block spells, 2 Root Riders. The Ice Block spells are pretty versatile. Invis bases, giant throwers, Root Rider. You can kind of use them to kind of keep anything alive, right? King. So yeah, this is kind of the thing of the attack, right? You create a funnel. You want your throwers to kind of stay inside the base and have your queen kind of walk outside the base and kind of guide them, lead them as well. Or they kind of work in tandem, if that makes sense. So that's going to be the attack that we take into Legend League today. By the way, as far as, if you didn't see my video yesterday, it was kind of the full in-depth guide for how to do the furnace attack, and I kind of wanted to gauge how and see how it did, to see if it's something I wanted to keep doing in the future. Not necessarily for like views or money or anything like that, but your feedback in the comments, because I asked for that, and overwhelmingly positive. So this is going to be the next army that I start working on a tutorial for. Since it's new, there's not a whole lot out there on it yet. So I'm going to start using this a little bit more in Legend League so that I can learn the attack to be able to teach it to you guys. So hopefully in about a week or so, I will come out with that version of video for the thrower army as well. So look or keep an eye out for that. But that will be the next tutorial in-depth guide that you can look out for, and that I'll do is this thrower army. So with all of that being said, I appreciate the feedback, by the way. If you haven't seen that, again, go check it out. But let's dive into Legend League. Well, I'm an idiot, and I didn't realize I muted my mic for all of my hits live, except this one. This is the very last hit. So I'll do this one live. I'll show you the screen, what we do at the end of the day, and then I'll go over some of the replays, including the one fail that I've got so far, which Brain Dead Warden. All right, I think, man, do you have to get a Fireball in the core here? We've got some Ice Block spells. I still think it's like kind of necessary. And I'd rather have my Warden deal with the Royal Champion than the Minion Prince, so I'll come from like this side over here. All right. We just need to make our way. Anything in the middle is fine. And because of how clumped the middle is, I think we can waste a little bit of time, like maybe a full minute or a minute and 15 seconds on this part of the attack, just to make sure that we get this off. We definitely want to... Okay. We should step inside and deal with this collector next, or storage next. After the Expo goes down... Ooh, man, this gets a little hairy, right? So, Invis. I'm going to be really safe with my invisibility spells here. And Invis over here as well, just to be safe, because I don't want... This is like the most poor part of the attack, right? Okay, Ice Golem this, Headhunter, Root Riders this. I didn't get the CC, so I've got to deal with the Minion Prince, unfortunately. I really hope that the throwers cannot reach that multi-archer tower from in here. That would be really nice. Okay, we're going to Ice Block the King, make sure that he lives. Okay, we're going the right way. Okay, we actually break that wall down, which is sick. My phone's activating like I'm talking to it for some reason. I don't really know what's happening there. What do you want from me, phone? Okay, we can rage. Let's rage. Okay, do we have a furnace in the CC? Yes, we do. So let's go ahead and just do that. Oh, I don't want my Warden dying. Okay, that's actually a good king ability there. Okay, King will probably die. That's fine. He goes to Phoenix. We actually deal with that Monolith from the Yeti Mites. Okay, I didn't want my warden to die. He's like the one thing that's going to prevent me from time failing, I think. Let's just rage here, because the healers will be in this in just a second. And I think we are good. I'll show you the screen what we go today, and then I will actually, this might turn into more of an educational video than I thought, because now I'll just go over some of the replays with you and talk to you guys, because I actually killed it today. Had one fail, but I'll show you that fail. I was in the middle of a base where there was 2 rage, and my warden walked like ahead of the king and everybody else. I don't understand. So you'll see that. The king's brain dead, or the warden's brain dead. He like walked ahead of everybody and died, and I barely failed the raid. So I'll show you those, but let's see what we do. We go 309, so I had 1 fail, and so pretty good day. The throwers felt really strong. It was close on time on some of the attacks, but power was almost never an issue. We kind of overpowered every base, but let's go ahead and dive into some of the replays. Perfect. So this is going to be the first replay that we go over. Now, one thing I can't really give you an exact answer for, but you have to keep in mind is the relationship between the amount of time that you invest in your warden charge and the value that you get with the fireball. If you can get an amazing fireball like I do here, you can justify using more time on the warden charge to get that off. But if you waste a lot of time on the warden charge, just know the longer you take, the more risk you are under in order to time fail, right? So your risk for a time fail just increases the longer you spend. So just keep that in mind. And with this attack, you can really choose to get a really good fireball and spend more time on the warden charge, or just get a decent one like this ricochet cannon here and just get going with the rest of the attack and just throw down like 2 invisibility spells at the start to just get that fireball. It really is personal preference. I prefer to get a good fireball, like a really massive one. I feel like it just makes the attack a little bit easier. The funnel's a little bit better usually. So that's what I'm going to do. As soon as we get there, I usually ice block my warden when I launch the fireball. It just makes me know that he's not going to wander off in some weird direction or get attacked by things and die while I'm kind of not paying attention to him and placing spells down. So we place the invisibility spells down now. I mean, this fireball is really insane. And then this is one thing I do want to talk about. If you have a choice to start on like the town hall side or end on the town hall side, start on the town hall side. What I've noticed is sometimes as my throwers and things are heading like this way through the base, as my queen is guiding them and she's heading outside of the base, the healers, for whatever reason, they like tend to kind of move inside of the base to stay with them as they're moving out. And eventually they get in range of the town hall before anything else. I don't know why that is. And so the healers die. That's happened to me twice in friendly challenges where the healers get targeted if I end on the town hall. So I would just start on the town hall. That way your healers are alive the entire raid. But that's really it. Obviously, sniping anything that's going to be hard for your throwers or your queen to reach is going to be kind of the priority with your royal champion. So I just put her down over here so that I know that they don't struggle getting to those buildings on the backside of the base. And then I can just go ahead and go from there. So we do get the monolith barely. But we do. And then the queen I use here to funnel and keep things inside of the base. I probably should have ice blocked the root riders here. I just probably wasn't paying attention and didn't notice. But use your ice block spells liberally. Don't hold on to them for the entire raid. You just use them if you have them. Use them to keep your king alive and the root riders. I would say those are your 2 #1 priorities for the ice block spell. And then if you don't need to use them for that, you don't think, you can use them on the giant or the royal champion even. And her aura, especially in a raged up compartment like this, will get a lot of value because all of those buildings will be attacking the royal champion, as well as her aura continues to damage everything. But anyway, that's replay number 1. I'll show you the fail next, and then we'll probably just show you like 2 replays after that. All right, here we go. I got a lot of double rage bases today. It felt like probably 6. And then we got 1 rage invis core. I think I fireball the rage tower here. Again, an amazing fireball. And I'm actually going to ×2 until we get to the smash part of this. I don't even necessarily know that I really did anything wrong because I've watched this replay again. My warden just walked ahead of everybody and just died kind of by the town hall. Like I don't really understand what his pathing was. I don't know why he did what he did, but that's what happened. And then we end up barely failing the raid. We get a 90%, but it would have, yeah, it was like almost a time fail. You'll kind of see what I'm talking about. Okay, so we get the sweeper, but that still gets basically everything the rage tower would have gotten. We put our throwers down. Again, I want to start on the town hall side. I find that the healers die if I don't. We get these guys in here. Okay, I'll do ×1 now. Again, I would deploy everything else and then deploy like the root riders last. Use the ice block spells to keep them alive. That's exactly what I do here. You want them to continue to opening walls for everything. and a tank, right? If they're distracting defenses and the defenses aren't attacking you. And see, this is where my Warden kind of walks ahead. You'll see here in just a second. He walks ahead of the king. Ah. Warden! Whoa, what were you doing? Was he following what it was ever going to this multi-charge tower? I don't get it. To make it make sense. And so after this, I was trying to keep things alive. But if you don't have an Eternal Tome and you don't have raged up healers, I do rage here, but it makes it really hard to keep everything alive, right? Especially with how spread apart everything got. Yeah, so if I had kept my Warden alive, I think this base would have been crushed, because you'll see it gets really, really close here at the end. So I'll ×2 through the rest of this. But my gosh, Warden, I don't get it. I probably should have used my Invis on my Queen a little sooner too. I definitely screwed that up. That probably made a difference too. But we do get the Monolith here. And so literally the only defense that was left after my Royal Champion died was this X-Bow. But then the thrower gets spring trapped. So it was really, really close to not being a fail. And had my Warden stayed alive, I think it would have been crushed. But crap happens. I need to send the Warden to school or something to get smarter. All right, next replay. This is the only other non-double rage base that I got, so I figured I'd show this too. There was one where the hook tower gets my king, and it just was... Maybe I'll find that one, but I don't think this is it. So on this one, I'm pretty sure I fireball a scatter shot. This one was one where I'm like, I don't need anything fancier than that. Multi-Infernos aren't that scary, so I didn't want to invest another spell plus some time to invis more things to get the multi-inferno would have been the other target that I would have gotten if the fireball landed on the poison tower, if that makes sense. So I think I just get the scatter shot here. Really good fireball, sets a good funnel, and then I'm going to start on the town hall again. I really like starting on the town hall. Probably hear me say that 5 more times. Yeah, easy fireball. This one was definitely one of the least time-intensive fireballs of the day. And then again, I'm just going to use my Queen to funnel everything into the middle of the base. And I saw the furnace, so I put the poison down. I figured there'd probably be more ice golems. But ice golems with the poison doesn't really help you speed that part up really that much anyway. Maybe like a half a second from the damage they take from the poison spell. But and then I forgot to put my king down here for a little bit. So now I'm like, oh, well, crap, I got to put my king down. Then I used my Royal Champion here to help my Queen, because I was like, my Queen's just going to get wrecked from these defenses that outrange her from the inside. So I want to put my Royal Champion in there to help a little bit. So maybe my Queen stays alive a little bit longer, but she ends up kind of getting wrecked anyway. So it really didn't work out the way I thought it would. What the heck was that barrel? Yeah, and then I think I ice block my Royal Champion here too, just to make sure that she stays alive. They'll continue to tank while they're ice blocked, plus the Warden or the Aura from the Royal Champion's really nice too. I still have my King ability, which I think I use here in just a second, just to open up the walls and stuff, because at this point I'm like, I'm not really have a lot of stuff anyway. This one got close with time, because things kind of, I want to say fizzle out, but like there's all of the throwers alive left, plus my Warden and all of the healers, so there's a ton of power left, but this one kind of, I mean, it's slowed down, I guess is maybe the right way to say it. So I'll just ×4 through the rest of this. You can see we had a bunch of stuff left over, and I ice blocked the King to keep him alive a little bit longer, but again, I need to be better, and I'm realizing this at the end of the day, so maybe you guys should learn from my lesson. Ice block stuff sooner. Just use the ice block spells earlier on in the raid. I'm always left with like one at the end of the raid. I'm like, probably should use it. So ice block things sooner. Okay, last base. The last one was the only other option between this or the other replay. Maybe I'll actually show the Rage Invis one after this, because I got lots of these double rage bases today. I can't even remember what I fireballed. I fireballed this builder hut is what I ended up doing. And we'll ×2 through the first part of this. Again, the more value you get with the fireball, the more time you can justify spending on the Warden walk. So that's something always to keep in mind. It's worth it, by the way, to use an extra invisibility spell to be safe with the fireball. So if you're wondering, like, looks like it's probably not in range, but I don't know, just use an invisibility spell. One spell's probably not going to cause you to fail the raid if you get a good fireball off. This is where I block the Warden and use 3 here just to be safe. Get the Builder Hut, so we get the Clan Castle. And then I actually poison the King here because I'm like, I don't know if the King's actually going to out DPS the healers and stuff, so just to be safe. I knew the CC went down, so I could use the poison somewhere else. We'll use the King. Again, you want to put the Root Riders down last so that they don't tank the damage and die early on. And then I'll use the Queen with the Giant on the other side. is kind of a copy and paste attack, starting on the Town Hall again. But I mean, you guys will see almost never, unless something really wrong happens, do you like run out of steam with this attack. It really does have a lot of strength. This is where I think the hook tower gets my king. Is this it? Oh yeah. Sometimes the hook tower does so much more harm than good on the base. It's hilarious. Like that. It would have been better had he not even had the new defense in his base on this attack. And then I just used my Royal Champion. I knew there was a bunch of overkill on the left-hand side, so I'm like, I'll just clean up some of the right-hand stuff where the walls aren't going to be broken probably for the throwers with my Royal Champion, right? That was the thought process there. Because the walls are opened up on the left-hand side. Didn't need to worry about that. But this one was crushed too. I will show that 𝗪𝗓𝗗𝗘𝗢𝗧𝗖𝗛. I spend a little bit more time with the Fireball because you can justify it if you get a massive Fireball when it goes into a 𝗪𝗓𝗗𝗧𝗧𝗧. But anyway, yeah, again, I'll work on a full in-depth guide for this where it talks about all of the aspects of this army a little bit more in depth. But let's get into the last replay. Oh, I'm an idiot. The 𝗪𝗓𝗗𝗧𝗧 one was the one that I did live that you guys actually got to see at the very beginning. So we'll show this one off. To show you it does work out on really high bases. This guy was in the top 1,000 when I checked. And you can see everything's basically upgraded and supercharged all the way. We're going to just fireball a rage tower. And again, I'm going to spend a little bit more time on the warden charge on this one because that is a massive fire. Look at, holy crap. That's why this attack, and really any fireball attack specifically, is so good right now. These kinds of bases, I got 6 of them today. 6 double rage bases. If you delete one rage section at the beginning of the base, and then funnel your throwers correctly, you can 3-star pretty much any base unless your warden decides to walk ahead of your entire army for no reason. So that's what we end up doing here. I think I ice block right after this goes down. Yeah, right here. And fireballs. That's just so crazy. I didn't even end up getting the rage tower, but we got everything anyway. Again, I want to start on the Town Hall, so I put my throwers at the bottom. And then I see the thrower here. I was late to poison that. I knew that everything was going to be walking that direction anyway, so I didn't put my queen down right at the beginning because I knew they were going to be funneled towards the Town Hall pretty much no matter what. At this point, I honestly probably could have just waited and put my queen over here by the multi-archer tower. I ice block the giant. I'm telling you guys, you should just be really liberal with your ice block spells. Just use them. The more stuff you can keep alive at the beginning of the raid, the easier the end of the raid will be. So just use your ice block spells. I mean, that seems like a really simple thing to say out loud, but I'm learning, right? This one was a little weird because my throwers all split and kind of go to the left, and my other stuff goes to the right, like my heroes, and then I put my Royal Champion to deal with the monolith on the back. But just because of how good the fireball was, and I funneled the throwers, which are really good, it didn't even matter. The throwers, one reason they are so good is the range is long, so not as many defenses can hit them while they're attacking the defenses, right? So they don't need as much healing or sustain as normal. But we probably could have swagged the king ability here, to be honest. We even had a decent amount of time. And again, I'm left over with an ice block spell. Use your freaking ice block spells. Just use them. At the very beginning, when your Root Riders start taking damage, just start using the ice block spell, because if not, you're going to be swagging them at the end of the raid or time failing. So, but anyway, that will do it for this video. Again, I'll have this out hopefully in like a week, the full in-depth guide, but we will see you guys in tomorrow's video.